Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
What's up, friends? Welcome back to the TV Terminal. My name's Adam Vale, senior editor over at the Koalition.com, and I'm joined by my boy Kim Burke. What's up, Kim?
What's up? What's going on?
What's going on is we are here, people. We talked about it. So a few of you, Ty and Rob, and a bunch of you guys have talked about it. We said, hey, what shows are you looking forward to watching? Rattled off a bunch of names, and one of them that was on that list, that's also on our list, is Cross, season 2. You know, we had our thoughts. We talked about season 1. Hit or miss. We liked the whole fanboy serial killer. You can't go wrong with that. But the way they portrayed Cross, a little janky. 1 minute he's like super detective, almost Sherlock Holmes, how he can figure things out. He gets in his zone, which we see some of that in season 2. But then in other points, he's completely off, and he just seems out of it.
Stressed by his fact that he can't figure things out at points, right?
Yeah. So it's like, they're playing a little bit loose with some of that stuff. But hey, you know what? It was good enough for them to
the crime they had to figure out was intriguing, you know?
Very intriguing. A lot of stuff going on there. I don't think we've seen his supercar yet. Remember at the end of season 1, he had this supercar. Really nice. He was pulling a shaft with his car coming out of nowhere. I mean, hell, shout out to a lot of the music in this. It's like from the 70s. Like once they go into the precinct and stuff, what is this? You know, like Skarsgård and Hutch, bringing it back, right? A little bit of everything. But anyway, it was enough.
Glad to be here doing it.
Oh, yeah. But it was enough that it warranted a season 2. So a lot of people watched it. It's based off of very popular novels. You talked about some of these before.
Yeah, James Patterson, great author.
Great author. Right. So
we are not reviewing the books.
No,
let us be clear about that.
No comparison.
We're here to review the show,
right? There you go. If you're new to the channel, this is what we do. Right, we do a full breakdown. We give our thoughts at the end, a full breakdown, but we start sprinkling our thoughts throughout the episode. So if you're new, if not, then you guys already know, you're familiar. We cover a bunch of shows. So again, like, subscribe, hype, and let's get into it. It starts off with what we were calling Bad Girl, Bad Guy. No names given. They gave a fake name to a guy on the dock because they're they're on a boat head to
they're bad guy and bad girl.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we might as well just call them that. Show doesn't give a name. We're not giving you a name. All right. So they get on. They said, "Oh, you're not Troy. Yeah, don't worry about it. Troy sent me. It's all good. It's all good. Let me on the island." They get on the island, and instantly the girl wanders off, goes up looking around. The guy's dealing with the other guy. Long story short, girl finds creepy guy with a girl chained up in the room talking about, "Oh, you're my favorite." And the girl pulls out. That was super creepy.
You actually realize the island that the bad guy and bad girl landed on is just full of other dudes and underage.
Yeah. You see where they're going with this. We all know it's in the zeitgeist, the Epstein, the island. I mean, they're not hiding anything here. They're throwing their own twist on it. But this is the premise right now. What's going on right here, right? Yeah, dude's creepy, whole thing. She was chained up. He says, "You know what? Unchain her and chain yourself." It's like, okay, because she has a weapon pointed at him. He does it. He's cool. Then we jump to bad guy, and he's in the house taking a look, and he sees this one girl running around. The guy's like, "I'm chasing you," doing like some sex play. She doesn't seem too happy about it, and he says, "You know what? I want to play." It's like, what? Oh no! Right? So then he jumps back to we're calling bad girl still. She goes back. Guy's chained up. He's like, "What's going on? Why are you doing this?" She says she's doing this for, it's like $11 million, but it's only this 11 million plus other documentation that's in a safe deposit box out in Houston, Texas.
Right. It's a very specific number. She's like, "I'm doing it for the $11,632. And the documents in this particular Dropbox." So there's something that this woman is specifically after in relation to this bad man.
Yeah. There's something there. And he even says, he was like, "How do I know you? What's going on here?" She goes into Spanish. She talks about she's the daughter of a Dr. Peraza. I probably butchered that, but it was a long name. But still, that was the end. She talks about the story. And this was her mother. And the whole thing with happened with mother, you don't know. She was there for the poor and this and that, and you were horrible, and she died, and it's because of you. And he's like, what? And she cuts his throat. While she's doing this, we got bad guy over there. He wrangled up all the other creepers because this was full of creeper guys, right? And he found a whole room of other girls. Like, you know what? Head out, get to the boat. That girl that was upstairs sent the other girl to the boat as well. So they're all out of the boat. That guy
freeing all the girls. Yeah.
Yeah, I know some people are like, oh, why are you calling them bad? Right now, with all the other things going on, and when it spins off in episode 2, you get it.
I think you get the idea here. They roll up and they're killing people, so we started calling them bad girl and bad guy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the people who don't get it twisted. People, these guys were doing it bad. We know it's bad, so we're not justifying any of that. So anyway, we're just trying to, because they don't give us names. They don't give us at least give us code names. That would have been great. It was like, hey, Bobby, yeah, Jill, you know what I mean? Then that would have been fine. But no, they didn't do that. They don't even talk to each other, really, if you think about it. Right? Yeah. He sets the whole place on fire with the creepers inside.
Oh yeah, he burnt everybody alive. In that
burnt it all down. She heads out. They got all the girls on the speedboat, and they leave the island. And the mansion that was there is ablaze. Cue the intro. Real quick, what did you think of that for an opening segment of season 2?
Yeah, man, I thought that was a pretty cool, intense way to open the show. I like the intrigue of the crime being committed. It's kind of like they're setting you up to root for an anti-hero because you feel like they're bad people in a room full of worse people, so they're kind of the good people. It's a cool dynamic.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, should we call him just good guy, girl right now? How about this? Perfect. Vigilante guy, vigilante girl.
Okay, vigilante.
There
guy,
you
vigilante
go. Because
girl.
they do use that.
They
use that word in episode 2, right? Okay. So in episode 2, they use so what is vigilante guy and girl. So right after that, we get the intro. We jump over to a police academy graduation. Right, we see all the cadets. Everyone's there in uniform, looking sharp. They bring Cross out to give a speech. He gives an interesting speech because it's a lot. There's a few scenes. Well, I should say there's a few lines in his speech that are callbacks to what happened in season 1. He said, "I made some bad decisions. I hit an innocent man. Life is hard. This is a hard job. It's not easy. You're gonna make mistakes, of course. It's part of the job. If you're not ready to make mistakes, don't put on the shield. Blah 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 blah. A good speech. Good speech.
It was a realistic version of, hey, thanks for the invite. I'm here and I've been given awards, but I've also done my share.
Oh yeah, he lost it. He lost it for a while, but it was understandable. The whole thing with his wife and all this stuff that was going on. He gives a shout out to his detective partner, John Sampson. Right, says, "Hey, my boy." Whoa, that was loud. Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, Sampson." He was like, "Yeah, remember he helped me out. He hooked me up. I wouldn't be here if not for him." He give a little call out.
Well, so Sampson checked them in the first season.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're messing up, dude. You need to get your shit straight.
Yeah. All right. And then right after that, this is what threw me off the first time when I had to do 2 watches on this, people, just letting you know. Because it was like weird cuts of timing and days. Don't want to get into it. You all know what I'm talking about when we see this. These things happen. But then it just instantly cuts to Cross and John, his detective partner, in a diner. And then he's just talking about, well, that was a great speech. He was like, yeah, but Elle helped me. If you recall, Elle is the girlfriend or the sort of love interest he had in season 1. And it was really complicated because she was sort of working with Ramsey, the fanboy killer. And he knew about it, but he was trying to set things up, to catch him in the act. Because remember, that was the tough part. How do you convince everybody that this rich dude is the one that's killing? It was really complicated.
It put her in danger. And so
it put her in
part
danger.
of their relationship in the first season.
Yep. And this is really quick because this is the only time we get reference that it's been almost 2 years since that time. Right, because he says it's been about a year and a half. He's like, well, we're still kind of close. It's like, oh, she's dating already. Some guy named Trevor. Yeah, but it's not serious. How do you know this? Well, she's close with Nana, which is the woman that takes care of his 2 kids.
His ex-wife's mom. Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, he's cool with her, and she still comes by to hang out with the kids. Stuff. In fact, she's coming over tomorrow for brunch, so everything is gonna be cool. I got a shot. So he thinks, and then John was like, I'm all for it. She was good people. You're cool. Go ahead, be happy. And then while it does that, the next thing, it goes and we see Elle in a restaurant with Trevor, the boyfriend. it sounded like she's giving a speech or just rattling off a speech just to run it by him to see how he reacts. But he was like, hey, it all sounds good. You're great. Are you talking at me? Talking with me? What's going on? But either way, it sounds great. She's happy. She smiles. And then it cuts away from that. So I was like, oh, this was only done.
Gave you a taste of that relationship, right?
Yeah, just a little taste of the whole thing. Just so you know that she's happy in this relationship, right? She got the Kool-Aid smile and everything, still looking pretty. Great. Okay. Then this is what we're getting at with the 70s music. You guys watched it. You know what we're talking about. It's Starsky and Hutch music when we get John and Cross walk into the precinct. They're talking. Everybody, hey, welcome back. They're doing the whole thing. We get real quick, a lot of name drops here. I'm sure a lot of you were like, what the hell? What do I care? So we'll just streamline it for you. The guy that comes up to them and says, hey, I'm dealing with this gun with no serial number. His name is Akbar. Yeah, right. Exactly. It's linked to a murder case. So he thinks, he doesn't know. That is separate. That is separate than the one that John is dealing with the other girl. That's where it gets tricky. You think they're connected. They're not connected.
No,
they're separate. So when Akbar says, hey, I got this gun with no serial number and stuff, and then John was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then you see Cross say he wants to talk to this other female detective that comes by. She has no time because she's interrogating a murder suspect. Right, then she walks off. Then a lieutenant comes out saying that she wants some documentation about a prior case stuff. Then a chief of police walks up and says, no time for that. You and I have to talk, meeting with the lieutenant. And the lieutenant's already getting a little nasty. I'm already in trouble. Right, I can't. Go ahead, people in the comments, if you remember her role. I did not go to rewatch her role because I didn't think it was relevant, but I guess she just got promoted, or maybe she wasn't in that position before. There was a lot that happened in that season. Remember, the mayor was corrupt and all kinds of stuff. It was like,
if I may, I think it's important to mention that when Akbar tells them about the gun in the murder case, and it's really kind of what sets the ball rolling. The one thing he says about the gun, because they asked, it was like, oh, what, the serial numbers got scraped off? And he's like, no, they were never even put on. It came out of the factory with no numbers. And you know what that means. And he kind of alludes to that. That's like some really
good point. There you go. See, this is why you're here. Give him a thumbs up, people. Go ahead, give him a thumbs up. Because that was a good one. A good catch, because that comes up a little later in this episode too. When we find out more when Kayla, which we'll get into. But hey, after that, Cross sits down. He gets a call. He points it to his boy John, and we're assuming it's Al. And sure enough, because then now the next scene is already the brunch. So see here, just do the time with the cop, the detective that came over and said, hey, I have somebody that's in holding, right? Because of it's a murder suspect. Right. That was, let's say that's just day one, because now we're jumping to a day two, because this is now brunch later on that day. So this is already cut past. It's just the timing. There you go. But anyway, we got the family dynamic going on here. We got the two kids. They should be traumatized after what happened. Daughter. Yeah. But, with all the stuff, you got Nan there, you got Elle there, you got John, his girl. I don't think he said her name.
A table full of people. And Alex, obviously.
Yeah. Right? And then, of course, the father there, he's there. Right, so she's the daughter's instantly is Jenny, if I remember right, is saying, "Hey, I want a cell phone. Brother has a phone. I want a phone." And it's like,
your brother's 14.
Yeah,
you know the rule. No,
it's a tricky situation. Parents out there understand how this goes, but she's going back and forth the whole thing. But then John chimes in. I had to get this audio, and then I want to ask your opinion, people.
Excuse me?
Girls are smarter than boys, and that means faster. Give a boy a phone, he's playing video games. Give a girl a phone, she getting into all sorts of inappropriateness.
Yeah, you keep digging that sexist hole, you're gonna get buried in it.
Am I wrong? Sugar, back me up.
No. Oh, man. That's a big one. That's a big one.
I'm sorry. If I was Cross, I would have backed my partner up on that.
Yeah. And again, for you people out there with kids, especially in that age group, how do you feel? When's a good point to give a boy or a girl a cell phone?
12-year-old girl wants a cell phone. Is it a good idea?
Yeah. I the way I did it with my daughter is that once it was time for her to go to middle school and she's doing a lot of traveling and stuff on her own and just interacting with the world more, then it's like, all right, this is when it's a good time to have it.
And how old is that now? Middle school?
That's the same thing. 13, 14, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, yeah, around there.
Yeah, so Alex Cross's rule was 14 years old. That's when the boy got
14 exactly. Now, they didn't say her age, but
she's 12.
No, I mean, not the age, the grade. My bad. If she was, I'm pretty sure she has to be in middle school by then. So yeah, that's the thing, because Elle jumped in and says, hey, she handles a lot of responsibilities. She's good at adjusting her time and management and all stuff. Because remember, Cross's thing is social media. Understandable, right? We know all the horrors of social media. I'm not really active on it. You said you're not active on it, but we see it, we understand it, and for younger people, they may not, and that's the harm, and especially what happened with his kids, but with all the stuff. Remember the last episode, the kidnapping, it's crazy, right? But anyway, he Cross thinks about it. And he's like, all right, you know what? Elle's jumping in on this. Yeah. Okay.
Everybody's got an opinion.
Everybody's got an opinion. So then he was like, all right, fine, I'll do it. You get the phone. He's like, yay. Right. Then we get an awkward moment. I mean, I shouldn't say awkward, but just out of place. Wasn't expecting this. It jumps over to John and his girl driving home from the brunch. And the girl's just flipping out about his remarks and the whole thing, screaming and all this stuff. And he's like, oh, man, we seems like, oh, he's just going to pull over until they get out. And sure enough, he does. I'm pulling over. She's like, go ahead, pull over. She starts threatening. He's like, oh, I'm going to do it. And he goes into an alley, though, and pulls over. And he's like, there, get it. And she just unbuckles and jumps on top of him, and it's party in the pants time. I wasn't expecting that. Again, this is stuff that we didn't really see in season 1. And this is a new element to add to this show, because at first I was thinking, all right, Cross, this is going to be a serious cop detective drama with those type of things, and then when you throw in something like this, it's just out of nowhere. I don't know. I don't understand the need to show something like this, unless
we're going to see John's girlfriend again and again throughout the show.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, if she's the main character, then I get it. Yeah. Because if you recall, it was Kayla, who we're going to jump into the next scene, right? Kayla Craig, the FBI agent. She's the one that actually gets with John in season 1. They were hinting that it was going to have something with Cross, but it didn't turn out. She actually wound up, party in the pants with John. They had their whole little moment. So anyway, so now it jumps over to FBI agent Kayla Craig. We know her from season 1. She goes into a meeting. The boss is there. He's assigning everybody all these different cases, projects. They all head out. She's just sitting there alone. What about me? What's going on with me? It's like, well, you're good, but you know what? You don't make friends. You're not good at friends. And that's why you're not getting promoted. But this could be your lucky day, because the director says that, hey, I want her on a special case. And this is where we get introduced to the chicken guy, right? He's into food and all kinds of stuff. Lance Durand. Now, this is played by Matthew Lillard, right? We all know him. Scooby, Scream,
Scooby-Dooby-Doo!
Right? Scooby-Dooby-Doo, right? The voice of Scooby for a long time, except the movie Scoob. That was a shame. Should have kept him for that. But anyway, says, hey, listen, we need this. We need you to go on this case. What's going on with him? Well, someone's trying to kill him, right? So we're trying to figure this out. Oh, by the way, the director also wants Cross on this case. You guys worked well together on the Ramsey and stuff, so he wants to continue that.
She seems adverse to that in the beginning. She's like, why?
Well, this is the whole thing now. She's FBI. He's a local PD detective. Metro PT. You know what I mean? I don't know the hierarchy of how we know the levels, but I don't know how they react to working with. Do they see them as lower to them? The agencies? Is that a thing?
That question, yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. We can't answer the question. Hey, if you are in law enforcement, and it doesn't matter, do you feel like there's something like that? Or certain agencies?
Is there a line?
Yeah.
Is there an assumption that agents are better than officers?
Yeah. So she sort of plays this card. She was like, I'm not sure about it. She's like, yeah, no, don't worry. You got to get involved in this. This was coming from the director. And this is it. So we're going to set things up, and also no press. No one's going to know about this. This is just going to be something that you guys have to handle. Right. And she's like, well, I guess so. We got to do this. And then again, it's a really quick, these cuts. And we just instantly see Cross and Kayla. Right. And they're already en route to go to visit Lance Durand's place.
Yeah. Lance Durand, just for the record, is some sort of super mega rich billionaire kind of guy.
Yeah.
Who has some environmental farming seed company, kind of like a Monsanto situation. And so he's got resources, and he's got his own team when they roll in, and that's something that's relevant here.
Yeah, it's like Nate, and I didn't get the other person's name, but Nate, these are his own security team, right? And they're like the best of the best. This is what he had said. But once they show up, right before they just keep mentioning it. Kayla says that she is the lead in this. She said, "What was it?" She was like, "I am Cross, and you are my John." Like in regards to how Cross and John go out. This is her operation. So it's like, all right, whatever. But once they get there, they're shown a tablet. They're shown during one of his events. This is Lance Durand's event. He was presenting a box. Well, he was only going to see or maybe take something out of the box to show off. But then he opens up the box and then he closes it. And then that's when they pan back to the room. What was in the box? And he's like,
what's in the box?
What's in the box? Right? They bring the box. They put it in front of them and they open it up and they say, hey, it's fingers. It's a picture of Durand with a big X on his head.
You're next.
You're next. You're next. And like, what's going on here? What's happening? And he's like, oh, I don't know. I'm a rich guy, this and this and that. They do a little dancing around. And then he sort of says, well, there's somebody that's been bothering me for about almost 2 years. It's like 18 months. It's like, what, you've been dealing with this for 18 months and you didn't go, no, I got a security team. I'm okay. It's
so
like,
the security person hands over the iPad basically with the TED talk that rich dude was at when somebody stood up in the audience and started yelling at him, "You're a murderer. You killed people. I'm gonna get you." And then homie faded out in the crowd out.
Yeah, that was interesting too, because Cross was like, well, you're so good, then how did they swap whatever was in the box? And then she was like, well, I did step away to go to the restroom for a little bit. Then what about your number two? You know what I mean? Did you both go? Did you hold hands? Did you skip to the loo? It's like, come on now. That didn't really make much sense.
The other lady was just like a in-house administrator. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't a security person. She was there at the meeting because she, she was a house person.
Yeah, no house, right? One of the other things that comes from this meeting is that we find out that Nat, who is that security lady that handed over the whole thing, she is to be part of the team. And apparently this was approved by the director, the same one, the director of the FBI. And the
private security guy for the rich dude, or private security person for the rich dude, is going to work with Cross and Agent Kayla, right?
Yep. So they jump back to the precinct. They're looking around, looking at some of the notes. Any ideas? Nope, no ideas. Maybe the person is ex-military because they can't find anything on the security camera, right? They would, because which is interesting.
He knows how to hide his face.
Knows how to hide his face.
He was wearing something that messed up the facial recognition in one of the cameras.
Did you see Dexter?
Smart.
Did you see Dexter Resurrection?
A little bit.
That was the thing, that the guy would put on a mask.
Yeah.
And he put on a mask in the backseat because then the cameras would see it all blurred. And he would know to put this on. So it was very interesting with this. But it's also interesting that they still think that it's that person. I guess because they have no other leads. So they're just going based off of the heckler and saying, well, this must be him. Maybe he came back after all this time to do this whole thing.
And I got to be honest with you. I'm not going to say I was confused at this point, but they threw me for a loop because, as you mentioned already, we know that Vigilante girl cut off that island rich guy's fingers, right? And the box with the 3 fingers, I should have in my mind that those are the fingers that Vigilante girl cut off and put in the box and sent to him. But because the way they filmed this and tell the story, they switched the fault to the guy in the iPad video that yelled at him. And I went down that path. I started feeling like, oh, it's this guy who sent the fingers. But I know better. Yeah. As a viewer, I knew better.
Yeah, exactly. It gets a little tricky. And I think not a lot of people, and I don't remember if we just brought that up. Right before when they were doing all the fast cuts back on the island, right? Vigilante girl, she cuts the dude's Richie, which is, she said his name. She cuts his fingers off, right? Within a second, we see it real quick. She's just cutting, right? So if you remember that, and then you put the idea of what we just saw with the box, then you can say, oh, it connects now. You're looking for someone else because you're looking for a guy.
I took the crime for the face value, the way they were pitching it, but we know
We know a few things, and then we also know that the voice of the heckler didn't get a good look. At least I didn't get a good look, but the voice
no one did. No one did.
Exactly.
Didn't. No one did.
Exactly. It doesn't match. The voice doesn't match Vigilante guy that was running with Vigilante.
We know
Girl
it's
on the
not
island.
him. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So it's like before, if you're thinking, oh well, this is her partner in crime who was there. No, it was not. But anyway, they're trying to figure this whole thing out, and then that's when the female detective, the one that said that she had someone in holding for as a suspect of a murder, she comes back to see John and says, "Hey, do you know LaDonna?" Right? He's like, "Do you know LaDonna? What did I write her last name? Devani, yeah." Divine, right? Do you know her? Yeah. It's like, no, I don't know. Well, she says she's only going to want to talk to you. He doesn't know why. And he's like, well, she only wants to talk to you. So can you go in and just deal with this so I can get a confession out of her? And he says, all right, well, I'll get to it. Right now I'm working with
busy.
I'm working with
Cross. Let me finish this work and then I'll give you a hand with this stranger lady.
Yep. So then we get a jump to Cross and Kayla, and they're again reviewing the whole thing. They said, hey, the fingers are now with forensics. They're checking the finger tips for prints to see if it hits in the system. They're coming up with all these theories and ideas, and they're like, who would do something like this? This is definitely not just someone that's out for revenge. This is personal. This could be, I don't know where they jump with this. This could be religious or something. They started throwing all this stuff at us.
Well, they're doing the whole what do you call it when somebody is a profiler, right? So they're just throwing right now. They're throwing all the tropes out. If somebody does this, then they usually think this or do this, and so they're kind of just throwing darts at the beginning of the case.
That makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Then right at that, we get a quick scene with Vigilante girl in a room, candles, and she's got all the targets out there. Some that she's going after next. She's talking about this is what's going to happen to them, and it's almost like a prayer, like she's it. She has to do this. So maybe it is like a whole religion type of deal, So very interesting with all that. Then we go back with Kayla, right? And she's at a bar, and I was like,
hold on.
There you go. Well,
hold on, if I may.
Yeah, what you got?
You just reminded me of something. Vigilante girl did a whole incense prayer thing, right? Is that what you were just saying, right?
Yep. Okay. It was a quick scene where we see her and she's got more pictures of her other targets and things like that.
An altar, so to speak, right?
Yep.
An altar setting. Okay, just remember that. Go ahead, keep going.
Yep. So definitely comes up later. Then we get Kayla. She's at the bar with her detective boss. The FBI boss that was that assigned her to this. And he's like, oh yeah, I heard some good things. Everything's progressing well with Cross. You guys are working. Yeah. Well, you know what? You're about to get screwed right now. Akbar? Well, that's sort of he's at the well, he's one of the detectives. Keep an eye on him because he's investigating that gun that we just discussed that does not have serial numbers. And he says this is going to link to a National Guard supply area that's over in Houston, Texas. And this is going to bring up other issues because this connects also to something that we know. And
her face went white. Her face went white when he said all that information.
Yeah.
She knew immediately where this was going.
Mastermind, project code name, Bad Religion.
Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, dun, dun, dun. And he even says, he was like, breathe. She was like panicking. She was like, this could be the end of my career. This is it. Like,
she's guilty of something, right?
She's guilty of something. She's like, oh, I can't believe this. How did this happen? Doesn't matter how it happened. It has to get handled. All right, who's going to help me? No one's going to help. We're not supposed to be talking about this. Oh, right? This is all you. Remember? He was like, this is all you.
Gotta figure this out on your own, right?
Yeah. Right? He's like, yeah, you definitely got to do this.
I think this is one of those. And if you decide to take the mission, we will disavow any knowledge.
They definitely throwing her under the bus with all this. Whatever happens. And we see some of that from the reaction during that Skype call. Remember? Oh, man. Or Zoom call. Oh, that was horrible. Right. But anyway, she's freaking out. Guy leaves. Oh, have a great day. And then he leaves. Then we jump over to Elle. Elle's at her place. She gets a text message from Trevor. Trevor says, hey, I have a meeting with some new donors, right? I'm going to send them your way. All you have to do is reel them in. She was like, oh, great. You're amazing. I'm so happy. But all of a sudden there's a knock at the door. She goes to the door. It's Cross. Cross is there. And he says, oh, and this is where we'll just get into it, and I'll give my thoughts afterwards and get your thoughts. And then people go ahead, put in your thoughts how you see Elle with all of this. So she opens up the door, she sees him, and he says, "Oh yeah, it was great you came over brunch, but I thought you were there to see me." Now we already heard him tell John that he comes over all the time to be there for the kids. Right. And she even says it here. She was like, yeah, I'm not. No, I'm not there for you. I'm there for the kids. They lost their mom. There's a lot of traumatic stuff going on. I'm there for them. I was there for them before. Our relationship didn't work out because you put me in danger. Right. But I'm still going to be there for them. So, yeah, sorry. I was there for them. And do you think
it's not a, unfair assessment and statement, from this person that the little girl looks up to her.
Yeah, it's a role model.
They want to maintain the relationship.
Yeah. So that makes sense.
He shouldn't have been a dumbass and set her up with the serial killer.
Yeah. He shouldn't have done it. He was like, "Oh, if we could go back and turn time and do this, come on, it's too late.
Cop the plea.
Stop it. He's like, do you ever think about us? You never do that. Yeah, I didn't say that. And then all of a sudden,
brown chicken, brown cow.
Well, she goes, and they start going at it, and here we go. We're in the first episode, and both detectives are getting some action here. Now, yeah, like I brought up before, there was some action in the other one, but it wasn't so, I don't know, just in your face. Like it happened, it feels out of place, especially what happens later on in this situation. But hey, what do you guys think? Do you see anything happening with Elle and all this? Because we feel eventually they're going to get back together, right? Why is she on the show? They're going to do it, or she's going to be put in danger, and he's going to have to come save the day or something.
She might save the day. She might help him this time. Maybe. You never know.
Yeah. We never know. All right. So then we jump now. Soon. It's the next day, right? We get Kayla. She's in the elevator. Here's another little, if we want to talk about little branches that start developing of other stories, it happens here in the elevator because she gets this weird flashback of some kind of sleep testing, or what is it called? Sleep research, when you have trouble sleeping and they send you in, because it's like, you can go and lay down in this room, and it's like, oh, okay, thank you, and then it cuts, boom, she wakes up.
That's the whole bad religion thing. You think she was flashbacking on?
I'm wondering if that's it. Yeah, if it's going to be one of those situations where they just start sprinkling it in, not really telling us everything, so maybe there was something that was going on there, but definitely that's on her mind, unless now she's remembering, it's like, man, I had trouble sleeping before, I'm gonna have trouble sleeping again, maybe I should go back there. Who knows, right? But anyway, the reason why she's there, Kayla's there to see Akbar. And she says, hey, she plays it real nonchalant. I heard you had that gun. And I was like, yeah. And just like you said, he reiterates, it's like, it's not that the numbers are filed off. It never had numbers. So that means that it didn't come within the processing. It was pre-processing. And this is what her boss was saying. It's like, if he keeps digging, he's going to find out it's military grade and all this stuff and where it came from. It's going to get messy, and it's going to link back to her. So he says, hey, you know what? I can fast track all this investigation for you. I'm FBI. It's like, well, I'll hook it up. And he's like, oh, really? You can do that? He's like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He falls for that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, okay. Right. And he says, she says, just send me all the info you got. Just everything you got, and then I'll work them. Like, will do. Thank you. Bye. Boop. Easy peasy, right? When I saw this, I'm like, that's it. I mean, he might as well just chuck the bag with the gun at her. It's like, there you go. Wash my hands of this. But hey, whatever. It is what it is. Then he jumps. Boom. We got Elle. Cross wakes up. He's getting dressed, going to work. He's like, all right, so listen, let's make dinner plans. I get out. It's like, hey, let's slow down. That's not what this was. Basically, this was, this was a fling. This was just a spur of the moment. She got hot, and she was like, let's just do this, which is kind of sad, considering that she just got that text, Trevor hooking her up with donors, trying to help her with her fundraising and all her other projects. And this is the first thing she thinks to do, is to bang the ex who just knocked at the door. I find that shady. So yes, she's a good person with the kids and stuff, but I mean, pick a lane here. And that bothered me. So, and people will probably come in like, oh, it's complicated. Yeah, it could be complicated, but still, if she feels that way, then maybe she's not ready for a relationship with Trevor. And says, and who knows? He had, of course, I brought it up before talking to John. They just went on a few dates, and I even paused it when it brought up her phone again. and you can read some of the prior messages at the top, and it does say, it made it seem like this was like one of their few dates, because they're like, oh, you were a good date, and I was like, oh, this is great, thanks, and this and that. So maybe it is very early on.
Yeah, it's not established yet. They're not necessarily boyfriend girlfriend.
Yeah, they're not exclusive.
Just to give you a heads up, 2 of them today. So
2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm lost.
Keep going.
Oh, see, all right. No, man, now I'm all right. Oh man, now I'm lost. Oh man. All right. So then they head back to the precinct, and he gets in with Kayla. He's like, all right, what's going on? Still no leads. They're looking at everything. They're trying to figure out.
Not a whole lot in the first episode is figuring out the crime. It's a lot of personal Alex Cross relationship establishment and Kayla being freaked out, put on the case and then being freaked out. They're really laying an emotional foundation for the rest of the season. And I think they're going to be able to focus on crime and elements and clues and things like that moving forward.
Now, this could be a stretch, but maybe not. This is good detective work, because then while they're trying to figure this out, he's looking in and he's staring, and all of a sudden he goes into like that zoom in detective mode. And this is something that John had brought up later on. You get into this weird mode when you're working around with Kayla and stuff like that, because he says, all right, John, bring up the lobby again. Zoom up the guy in the lobby, right, from that time that we saw. And he looks and he's zooming. He's like, the whole time he's walking, he's got his left hand in his pocket. He never takes it out. You know why? Because those are the fingers. Somehow he blames Lance Durand for his fingers being lost, right, or something, and that's why he sent the fingers or something like that. I was like, wait, what? So he's linking it up that he blames him for the fingers, but then he's sending the fingers, or I don't know. But that's the gist of it, is that he thinks that those are his fingers, that it's the suspect's fingers, and he was like, oh, all right. Well, maybe that's what's going on here. I mean, did you pick that up? Was that
I did? I did not. But now, in hindsight, we'll discuss episode 2. Show 2. Suffice to say that I can make a connection later, right?
Yeah. But then he tells John, he's like, how about this? Go check down with homicide in the record, see most recent deaths. How many are missing fingers? He was like, all right, I'll get on that. But then the female detective walks in and was like, hey, I still, look, how many days you passed now? I think maybe 2. I still have that person holding an interview room that wants to talk to you, and only wants to talk to you. And he's like, all right, fine. He's like, Cross, can you come with me? And he was like, yeah.
You're telling me that poor lady sat in the interrogating room for 2 days? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. Unless they figured something else out, to put her somewhere else,
Right. Well, I mean, it is a murder charge. They got enough to hold her on the murder charge, so maybe
I think that's it. Maybe that's, but she's there, and then he comes in, both of them come in, and they're like, all right, what's going on? I heard you want to confess. I don't want to confess. I was like, all right, so then what do you want? It's like, really? This is it? You don't see it? I was like, what? Go ahead, tell me. And then
detective on this case.
I know that.
Well, then why did you ask for me?
I thought you'd know the moment you walked in. I'm your mother.
Dun, dun, dun. Mama. What?
Mama.
He starts freaking out.
You know what I thought was really funny? You called it. You called it. When she paused, she was like, I thought you'd know right as you walked in, you were like, no, his mother? And she said it right after. That was good. That was good. You're getting good at this.
I mean, come on. This is one of the tropes. And I'm sure a lot of people like, come on now. We also come. It's the only thing that makes sense. It's if not the mom, it's family, because the way she was staring at him,
right?
And he doesn't react well to it, so he gets up, he storms out.
His feelings, yeah,
right?
Well, because I think he thinks his mom was dead all this time.
Oh yeah, and we get into that.
Grandma,
yeah. Yep. And so he gets up and he walks out, and then Cross just stares at him. I'm like, well, I guess that's my cue to go as well. And then he bounces. So that was. Yeah, like you said, we called it. This is where we get the quick visit scene at the home. We see Kayla. She's drinking. She's boozing it up. And she opened up a letter, and it's a memorandum. And it says the code name, Bad Religion. So I guess she's getting ready to read the notes and see all the stuff. And how did this happen with this gun?
Yeah.
You know? So now this is where, oh man, I have this. I'm looking. This is really,
now,
really
help me
creepy.
out. Help me out
go
here, Adam. No mention. We already know Kayla from the first season, right?
Yeah.
They worked together. She was the main character in the first season. There was nothing about Bad Religion at all in the whole first season, right?
No.
This is
new
stuff. Okay.
And that's what wrong put in the comments, but I'm pretty sure this is all new story for this one.
Okay.
This is all new because he just said it. This wouldn't have come up at all if it wasn't for that gun being found. You know. So right after that, right, we get a really quick, real creepy. This is a nightmare situation. We got vigilante guy. We see him walking in the house, up the stairs, seeing family pictures up on the wall.
Yeah, just and like walked into somebody's house. It's just like
just walked into someone's house, right? Just being real creepy. And they do this far off shot. There's a full room shot, and we see him standing in the doorway, and we see a couple just laying in bed.
Yeah,
and
that
just
was creepy. The shot was from the head of the people in bed's perspective. If they would have woke up and saw him, it's just his silhouette in the lit doorway. It was creepy, yeah.
And then that's the thing. When you see the family picture, you see there's kids also. So it's like, oh man, what is going on? And the other crazy thing is he's not wearing a mask or anything.
No, dude don't give up.
No. And yes, people are like, oh, you know, we recognize this actor, and he was from The Expanse. We don't recognize a female vigilante. We definitely recognize this dude.
Yeah.
Right. Fantastic.
I actually recognize the female actor from a totally different genre. Mm-hmm. She's not even an actress. I didn't know her as an actress. I knew her as a dancer. But she does well in this. She does well in the show so far.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of vigilante girl pops up. She's all dressed up to the nines, right? She's got this whole thing going on. And she's at the casino. She sits down at a table, at one of the roulette tables. She gets a drink. She puts a chip down. She downs this drink. I even wrote that. I was like, she just downs this drink. She's making eye contact with some guy across the way. And I was like, oh, okay. What's going to happen here? You know, so it jumps over to, I guess, at the hotel room. They're doing their thing. She hits her climax. She's good. And she just steps aside, and then that's it. She's done. And he was like, are we done? And she doesn't respond. Shout out to him for just taking it like a man and just getting up and leaving and not doing something stupid. You know what I mean? Because that was the thing I got from this. I was like, oh, is he going to be like, oh, well, what about me? And this and that. Oh, and start swearing and stuff like that. Take it to the next level.
I felt though when she was sitting in the lobby watching him play cards at a distance that this was a setup, that she was there for him, but that it was going to be more murder and mayhem, maybe. You know what I mean?
I think this is her free zone. I think she gets dressed up. She puts on, it's like a costume,
and put a wig on and everything.
Yeah, right. This was her release. This is what she does. She goes out there just to feel something else. Because that was it. Like once she got her rocks off, she was done. She didn't talk about it. She never asked him questions about himself. She didn't do any stuff. If we want to really go back, if you want to rewind and go take a look, he wasn't one of the cards. You know, the dude that she picks. It wasn't like, oh, this was a target, and she was flying solo on this mission. This was
right.
You know, so that was it.
Yeah, I felt like she was going to do something to him after the sex. So I felt like she was going to hurt him, but no, it cut. So, you know, maybe we find him dead in the field in episode 7. I don't know. You know?
No, she lets him leave. He leaves. She definitely
lets him leave. He gets up and he leaves. I don't remember that.
Yeah. She just lets him. He's like, he you know, sizes it, gets upset and gets his clothes. And
that's right. That's right. He pulls up Jordan. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Then the next scene after that, we just get Cross and John on a rooftop at night, and Cross is there with some beers. He's like, "Hey, you want to talk?" Doesn't reply. He's like, "Well, you know, I love you." And then they toast the beers, and poof, wrap of episode 1, Harrow. You know, so that was it. What did you think? It was good. You were hyped. You loved it. You're like, man, this is great.
I dug it. I did. like you, I had a vibe about season 1. Going into season 2, I think they did a good job of shifting gears. It's a different kind of crime, I think, what we're about to witness throughout the show, season 2, than season 1. Season 1 was very personal. Very personal.
Mm-hmm.
This crime is existential, and I think there's going to be some questioning of values, helping the rich dude. And I think that that's going to be a lot more integral to the story than episode 1 led on. So, but I mean, I thought it was good. Much like you, if all the brown chicken brown cow ain't gonna go nowhere, give me the crime. I'm sorry. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the ladies, but let's just keep it moving. So
yeah,
but good
it was
episode.
Good. There's a lot. It's setting up some new things. There's multiple stories going on here, which is the typical of the case. We've talked about that with Fallout and stuff like that, and how they
all the
sprinkle
stuff.
I feel like the only one that doesn't really have that is Spartacus. We cover that one. There
Spartacus
was a little bit
real.
with Chorus and Proctor, remember, but that ended. So now there's just the main story. That's it. Like everything's happening in the house. All right, there we go. That was episode 1 coverage, and we will be back next week for episode 2, and then we got 3. They dropped 3 episodes on the first day, so let's just call it at that. But yeah, what did you guys think? You liked it? You didn't like it? We'll see what happens. All right, peace.